know, so I did do that, you know, and I was saying earlier that I really hated how I had the Adobe software that I had and didn't know really how to use it, and it just didn't sit right with me.
Yeah.
You know, and learning how to use that was a big step in being a podcast producer, especially because, you know, as much as I love doing my podcast, at the end of the day, the monetary goal I'm trying to get to, you know, is for one, having hosted podcasts live. You know, when people want to see your podcast live, you travel, you do things like that, you go on tour. There's that does happen. You know, you can do that if you're funny enough, your guests are funny enough, you know what you're doing well enough. You know, or another goal of mine is to eventually get to the point where I produce other people's shows for them, and I don't have to even be a part of the production. I can just be a part of the back end. And
that's a cool idea.
To do it, you know?
Yeah.
And with this growing industry of podcasting and everybody who wants to start a podcast, be on a podcast, you know, not everybody necessarily listens to them, but I feel like everybody wants to have one or you know, spread the word, and there is also an audience, though. There's a huge audience for it.
Oh, yeah. And
not everybody listens to them, but even somebody who doesn't listen to them is still interested in them, in a sense of whether it's starting one or being on one.
I can't think of a single person who would turn down the opportunity to have a podcast with an audience, you know?
Right.
Everybody's got something to say.
Right.
Everybody. And everybody thinks it deserves to be heard, which hit or miss on that one, but, you know.
Well, I like that because the fact of the matter is what I do here is 100% based around giving somebody the opportunity to have a platform to talk on, you know, and I've already done the hundreds of hours of grinding. I've already gotten my show in 12 to 20 different countries. I've already, you know, it was avidly in 13 different countries being downloaded regularly back when I first started it. And after I took my 2-year hiatus, you know, it wasn't obviously numbers that I was pulling like I am now. In a sense of, like, my numbers are mainly YouTube-based. Like, I had 100,000 views in this last month. And that was all really designed around manipulating the algorithm differently and utilizing what was out there and just understanding that, you know, there's just because not everybody's going to sit and watch an hour-long episode of your podcast doesn't mean that people aren't going to watch it.
Right.
You know, and
that's very true.
And it's a matter of marketing, a matter of getting it out there. It's a matter of putting it on multiple different platforms and putting it into short form video that people can actually retain and watch for
good 60 seconds tops, something like that. 10
seconds, man. You know, nobody's gonna, unless you really got a good back and forth from somebody. Not a lot of people will watch for a minute or like a really, really eventful, epic story. You know, a minute's a long time.
Yeah, that's true.
A minute's a long time. How many fucking minute long videos do you actually watch the whole thing of? You get you scroll past 100,000 in a day, but you know how many minute long videos do you actually rewatch?
Well, see,
to the point where it restarts, because you know if they're 15, 30, 45 seconds, you might get through to where it restarts and watch it a couple times.
Right.
Not with the full minute.
Well, see, I don't want to. I'm probably a little biased on that because, like, I prefer longer format content myself. I don't have TikTok. I don't watch YouTube Shorts. I don't. Actually, hold on. I'm kind of lying to you now. Okay, there's one guy. Apparently, he's a TikToker, but he also uploads to YouTube. It's Your Scumbag Dad. Are you familiar with him?
No, I'm not.
It's the most ridiculous shit. It is absolutely absurd.
Okay, so you fall into the age group like I do, where you used to watch videos on YouTube where you would sit and you would really dig deep, have a friend with you, and you guys would be sitting there scrolling through like, dude, fucking, you kicked my dog. You know, that kind of shit. Yes. Your daughter come to my house and she kicked my dog. You know, like those are the deep, dark YouTube videos we all watched.
I mean, dude, I'm 29 years old, man. You know, like I remember YouTube poop and all that shit. I was Charlie the Unicorn.
Funny Junk.
Yes, Funny Junk.
Funny
Film
Junk.
Cow, man. You remember the Cloak?
Funnyjunk.com, bro.
Oh my god.
I did not. What's the Cloak?
The Cloak is you know Charlie the Unicorn, right?
Charlie. Candy Mountain Charlie.
Yeah, exactly, those fuckers.
Man.
Yeah, the same people that made Charlie the Unicorn made a thing called the Cloak, and it's the Grim Reaper, whose sidekick is the dismembered head of like a noir film actor or whatever. I don't remember his name off the top of my head. But they go around killing communists. That's the whole premise of the like 30-minute video is just him trying to find like a dog or something, and in the process finding an excuse to kill everybody because they're communists. It is the funniest shit, dude. It's
The Cloak.
The Cloak. Hilarious, man. I remember watching that when I was way too young to be watching that.
About you? Kind of how you felt about this podcast, or whether you'd want to come on, and whether you were interested, blah, 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 right?
And, you know, something I really know better about when it comes down to being a podcast producer, you don't utilize your network of people with a podcast until you have a really tangible thing to show.
Right.
Especially because when I started this podcast, I did it over COVID. And, you know, that was something that I struggled with, especially guests, was justifying if it was okay for them to come over to my house and do a podcast and break these rules and regulations that we had been set to follow, and to literally, like I said, come to my house and talk on a microphone that they don't know how many other people had talked on to, and you know, and it was tough to get people to justify putting themselves out there and giving me their time, you know. And what I had noticed about when I was talking about this podcast with you a couple weeks back, I hadn't put the grind back into it. You know, like, yeah, I had a tangible show to show you, but like, hey, this is the podcast I had.
Right.
You know, I did this before, da 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 da, you know, check it out. And you're like, cool. You know, and I didn't say something like, hey, you know, I'm doing this again, like, you know, and at that point, if you were my friend or in my circle, obviously, if I had a podcast, you'd probably have either heard of it, watched it, seen it on my story, something along those lines. You know, so you were aware of what's going on, you know, and since you went to Alabama, I really grinded after having knee surgery on working on a lot of the aspects of the show. And a lot of what I did was I watched my old episodes and gave myself the ability to fine tune, because I didn't have that ability before, because I was kind of cocky.
Right.
You know, I had confidence in my show. I thought what I was doing was so good because I had already gotten offered a radio job in Boise. Like
wow.
Yeah, like this show had a lot of traction. I was doing a good job with it. And the circle and the network that I had made the show go a lot further than I would give it credit for now. You know, because now I don't have the network that I did.
Right.
So I have to figure out a compensation of that. Like, I have to figure out how to make up for that in a way, and that's having better content overall, fixing my content, getting better quality video, audio, guests,
just everything
editing,
in general.
overall improving the aspects and the qualities, you know. And
it's what every artist wants to do, is make beautiful art, man.
And I've talked about this quite a few times on how much I don't consider myself an artist. I didn't consider myself an artist until, you know, you sit here and you watch me for a fucking hour fine tune these little stupid details and stuff like that. Like, yeah, I'm not painting on a canvas, but this is something that
tell me that's not art.
It takes so much to do.
Exactly. And it's not just about like a technical skill. It's about you have to give a damn. You've got to give a damn.
Exactly.
Because if you don't give a damn, then you can tailor it to perfection, but there ain't gonna be no love in it. And if there ain't no love in it, what's the point in watching, man?
So, I mean, because YouTube back when we were young, man, was literally something that when your mom and dad would be at work and you and your homie got bored of the Nintendo or the Xbox, fucking Smash Bros and shit.
Yeah.
Or fucking Halo 3.
Yeah, it was Halo 3, baby. I was about to say it was fucking Halo.
You know, you guys would go sit on YouTube. I mean, I'm also talking about before Halo 3, though. Like, back in junior high age, it was like fucking... When you just had to... Funny junk. We didn't fuck with funny junk when we were fucking with Halo 3, I feel like.
Nah, definitely not. That was more like... oh, God, what was I watching at that point? Shit, what was around that time? That was like, what, 2009, 2010? No, that was Reach.
2008.
2008
That was like
3.
2008.
That's right. I was thinking about Reach.
That was back in the RuneScape days.
Dude, stop. Don't get me started on RuneScape. Bro, I've got
Did you play RuneScape? Were you a RuneScaper? Were you one of those kids at the library after school?
I've got a maxed account, dude.
Oh, my God.
A 2277 total with like 1 billion experience.
Oh, my God.
Yes, almost 1 billion experience. It's like 986, something like that million.
Do you still play?
Sometimes.
Nice.
Not often, since they removed the duel arena. I kind of quit because I'm a gambler, man. Like, let me tell you, at one point I had a 240 billion bank. Like 240 bill bank.
Wow.
It was fucking ridiculous. I had 65 Elysian spirit shields at one point.
I feel like RuneScape.
It was stupid.
was like Rust now, back then. Like the survivalist game that just pissed
That's
you
fair.
off when
Yeah.
you fucking die and you
That's
just want
fair.
to throw your controller and walk away. Like, I also wasn't a good gamer back when I would play fucking RuneScape.
Right,
So
yeah.
like there'd be times where I'd throw like hours into RuneScape and all of a sudden I'd be out in the middle of nowhere and just get fucked.
Oh yeah, get
get
fucked
fucked,
up.
yeah.
Just get bodied. See, that's a
Usually by like some stupid skeleton or like some bullshit,
Right.
you know? So it wasn't a high level. Like anything that like, really
Gotcha,
wanted
yeah.
to get me could get me.
they'd
know?
get you too. Yeah, yeah. See, there's a
Lost Strategy, man.
Prost. That honestly, that's one of my favorite games of all time. Is RuneScape. I'll still play sometimes. Like whenever Teams of Amasket, the newest update came out, I played that and I figured it out and I got bored with it really fast. And then
The new version?
it's a new raid. It's like a dungeon kind of, and it was actually really cool, man. Because the way they set it up was you could choose your difficulty, and the drops would scale based on your difficulty. You know what I'm saying?
So
It was pretty cool, almost like WoW.
I was about to say
Raiding.
like WoW.
Yeah, it's
Because
called
once
a
you get
raid,
into
yeah.
dungeons and raiding, that's WoW.
Yeah, it's basically what it was. But it was a fun game. But I ain't got the fucking time. You know, if you're not putting in 6 hours when you get on to play, you're not doing anything.
Right.
It's just
It's full grind. That's how I felt with
Full
Rust,
grind.
dude. Like so. There was a moment in time when I first got down for this medical leave on my ACL that I played a lot of Rust.
no.
Yeah, and have you ever heard of Rust?
No, yeah, I've played Rust before.
Yeah, and
I'm
it's
familiar
dude, that
with
game
Rust,
is it's a 2-week server. You know, if you spend any time other than the time on the game, you're gonna get fucked, raided, or just
You're
completely.
just gonna get fucked. Yeah.
Yeah, and I was on a server that was a lot more vanilla, like not vanilla, but a lot more builder based because it was. You weren't allowed to attack people in certain aspects. You know, it was like it was building super easier compared to the regular game. A lot easier.
Gotcha.
You know?
Yeah.
And the regular game of Rust, like when you just play on a regular server, it's just fucking hard.
It's not even fun hard.
Oh, no.
I
yeah.
rage quit. I
All
played
the
for about
time.
2.5 hours, and it was just like, I will never touch this fucking game again.
Yeah, and that's how I was when I first found it. But I found a buddy who was super try hard with it and super good, and he took me under his wing for a couple server rounds, you know.
Yeah.
And so I actually learned how to play the game. But we also still played on a server that allowed you to build. It was like a builder server, and like they still had a purge at the end of the 2-week fucking period of the game, and. You know, that's when everybody would attack each other and shit like that. But it gave you the ability to build and still play on a
Right.
server with other people and stuff like that. So it made the game more fun, in my opinion. You know, I'm not a huge gamer, so that game was already enough.
Yeah,
for
I'm
me,
sure. Yeah.
You know, but I was playing a lot of that game, and it was so intensive on my time. Like Tiffany, my girlfriend, was getting fucking sick and tired of it. He was like,
Oh,
"Dude,
Rust again.
you've been playing this game for fucking 2 days, 3 days, 4 days straight all day.
Oh my God.
long." And I was like, yeah. And at the time, I was still employed as the bar manager over at Old Chicago here, you know, and I was on medical leave and stuff. And like,
Right.
I'm not employed there now. They the medical leave
Expired.
yeah.
Yeah.
So they had to let me go, which was a bummer because you know what I mean. But justify sitting there and playing video games all day, like.
I mean, hell yeah.
I'm on medical leave. Let's go. I'm waiting for
What else you gonna
my
do?
paycheck. Yeah, you know. And then once medical leave went from 1 month to 4 months to 5 months almost. I've been on medical leave like close to 4 or 5 months. You know.
Damn.
Right after I got the surgery, the day I had surgery was the day they're like, "Hey, we gotta let you go." And I was like, "Has it been that fucking long?" Damn, because like I think medical leave in Colorado, the cap is 4 months or something like that. You know.
wow.
So yeah.
Damn, man.
Unless they work with you or some shit. Apparently, the reason they told me that I didn't take the proper leave of absence procedures, which was weird because I had contacted HR a couple weeks before the surgery and sent them the doctor's note,
Yeah.
which I thought was procedure.
Sounds
So,
like it.
you
Sounds
know,
like procedure.
Yeah, you know, they sent them the doctor's note, let them know the timeline, and I let them know, hey, it's going to be longer than I thought, but here's the timeline. You know, but it's also a company where they do this thing called voluntary employment.
No, I'm familiar.
Yeah, so
it's-
I mean, you can quit at any time, but they can fire you at any time.
Yep.
You know, so which I don't understand that because if you quit at any time, they're not going to rehire you.
Yeah, you get punished for following.
Yeah,
their
they're going to be like,
policy.
well, you took the loophole that we have against us. So we're going to say that you left on bad terms. But anyways, have a good day.
Yeah.
We can fire you at any time. And it's like, the second I read the contract when I took the job of that, I was like, wow, that's odd.
Yeah, that's a little weird. It's definitely an odd thing. It really does just feel like that's their way of punishing you, though. You know?
Right. Look at that.
Would you just take a look? You fucking Ed Bassmaster, too, speaking of YouTube from the day, man.
Ed Bassmaster? Who the?
Yes.
I actually don't hear. I've never heard of that one.
What? Would you look at that guy?
Oh,
Would you look at that?
You mean the fucking nature?
Yeah, fucking
Nature, that's pretty
yes. Dude, he's hilarious.
Well, that's pretty neat.
He's so fucking funny, man.
Would you look at that? That's pretty neat.
Would you look at that? No, yeah, just look at
Bring
it.
a little firepower. Nature. Thing is, when I was in high school, man, I took this class called horticulture.
Okay.
And if you already
Plant stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, if you already noticed, I'm a bit of a botanist. You know, I grow marijuana and fucking legally. By the way, I have my license for. I have my cultivation license for 48 plants in the state of Colorado, and I never go above the county limit of 12. But yeah, I'm legally allowed to carry a pound of weed on me at all times, 100 grams of wax at all times, and 20,000 milligrams of edibles. So if I ever get pulled over, I just have to show them, like, hey, here's my piece of paper that says, fuck off.
That's so beautiful, man. Oh, my God. Where I come from, like, that is just unheard of.
Dude, where I come from, too, Boise, like, dude, you have a gram of weed. You have weed flakes in your carpet of your
that's
car.
jail.
They'll fucking misdemeanor, bro.
Yep, that's jail.
Fucking possession charge all day. And it's impressive.
It really is, honestly. I have a friend who got a possession charge because they found a seed and a stem in like his car, in the floorboard, when they searched it.
But so I took horticulture in high school, and my horticulture teacher, rest in peace, he passed away like a year after I graduated. Super dope dude. And one day in class, he pulls up this video, the nature.
Yeah.
Well, that's pretty neat.
For me, nature is one of the neatest things on this planet. That's why Rodney and I started Nature Walk, because we want everyone to know how neat nature is, instead of just me and Rodney knowing it.
Nature.
How neat is that? That's pretty neat. Without a doubt, coming out into nature is one of the neatest things there is to do. But you also have to be careful. That's why I always try to pack a gun.
Oh, my God, no.
This isn't much of a big boy. I don't want to kill the animal, but I do want to warn it and say, hey, I think you're pretty neat, but I respect your distance. There's out here, there's mountain cougars and biting goats. How neat is that?
How neat is that?
It's pretty neat.
No, see, I don't even think I've seen this.
Oh,
No, this is
it's
hilarious,
so
man.
good. I watched this in high school. In class, like my teacher showed us YouTube videos, and he was like, "You have to see it." It was horticulture. He's like, "This is relevant. It's relevant content."
How neat is that?
It's pretty neat.
That's pretty neat. Oh, this is fantastic.
What a beaut.
What a beaut.
What a beaut!
You know, it'd be a great capper to a great day to be seeing a wild animal. I just get really
Great
excited,
capper.
had the opportunity to maybe see an antelope or a fox, you know, or some sort of mountain beast. So what I do sometimes is I'll try to, you know, shake things up a little bit, get the earth moving, and call out to them, you know. Here we go.
What am I watching right now? What is this?
Bro, what do you think? I thought that literally in high school. I was like, "What am I?" I watched this whole
Yeah.
video in class, and I got a credit for this class.
Nothing. Gee dang it. Let's see any color
Gee, dang it.
right now, but I'm not giving it.
Oh, no. Oh, my God. Oh, my G. That is ridiculous. Oh, wow.
Gee, dang it! We had to watch the entirety of that. Like
That was beautiful. I feel like a whole new world has just opened up to me.
nature.
It's pretty neat.
Dude,
Oh, man.
I can't tell you how many inside jokes from people who had horticulture in my high school. Dude, We'd be walking around. That's pretty neat, dude. All day, anybody who had that class would just be cracking up. There, nobody would get it. Though. It'd be like, if you didn't have horticulture, you didn't understand.
Like, what the fuck are you guys saying?
And dude, I shit you not. This was the kind of teacher, like, dude, this motherfucker would chew in class.
Right.
The teacher.
Yeah.
He had a chaw.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, dude. And
Dude, I'm from Alabama, yeah.
I'm from Idaho, and it's not as normal.
Oh, okay.
I was in Capital City. I wasn't in the boonies, dude.
Gotcha, yeah.
So, I mean, having a teacher chew in class, you know, it had to be a pretty cool class.
I mean, it's got to be a cool teacher.
Yeah, because,
for sure,
because you piss off one student, you're going to get ratted on.
Right, so
You know
you've
what I
got to
mean?
be cool no matter what.
Yeah, like
that's fair.
You got to give yourself a reason to have no student fucking piss you off or be pissed off at you. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? It's like one pissed off student's be like, Mr. fucking Wilmot, choosing class. You know? And I shit you not, like, there was one time, like, he caught somebody chewing in class, and they were like, how about your chew? And he was like, I don't know what you're talking about, just take it out. You know, dropped it right there. You didn't even say another word about the chew. What about the chew you do, bro? And he was like, I don't do that. Just take it out.
Okay.
You know, he was like caught red-handed, you know, fucking. Yeah, and he was really good about hiding it. That was great. That was the first time she's actually came in and joined on a show. Usually, she's a little reluctant to hop in here, so that was nice to have her join for a second.
Yeah, that was cool, man.
Me, nature's one.
Every time me and you go to the pub now, we're gonna just start telling each other, well, that's pretty neat.
How neat is that?
Nature.
If you're going to look at us like we're dumb. And they won't be wrong, of course, but...
Well, that's pretty neat. Chance. All right, man.
God.
So, remind me,
Okay.
you're a musician, you're a chef, you're a flooring installer, you're a property owner, all of the above.
All of the above.
What's your favorite?
Chef. By far. That's the whole reason that I'm getting into it. Like, man, there's nothing quite like it. Like, I grew up eating shit food. You know, Hamburger Helper was gourmet. Mom would make a meatloaf out of tube beef, and I would just be ecstatic. So, yeah, just something about it, man. Giving to my kid and, you know, my wife something better to eat than what I ever had. Giving it to other people. It's dope. It's a lot of fun. You get to put a lot of love on a plate. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I feel like that's one of the best ways to like express your love for somebody is to cook them a really good dish. It shows that you care enough to put forth that time to specifically think of a dish that that person wants.
Yeah.
And then go out of your way to make it extraordinarily well. And they just ain't nothing like it. Come on.
It's 100% my love language.
Yes, 100% my love language. Let me cook for you.
You had a job interview today. Where
I
did you
did.
have an interview at?
Great Wolf Lodge.
And they had you a stage.
A little bit, yeah. It was pretty dope.
How'd that go?
It went well. They offered me the job. It's honestly a really basic job to start with, but it's a foot in the door, and it's not bad pay wise. It starts out at $18.50.
There you go.
It's not terrible, so that's pretty cool. But for the most part, the reason that I wanted to go work there is they have establishments all over America, and they're about to open one in Paris too.
Oh, wow.
So if I get in there and I get in good and I work my way up to like a solid sous chef position, then I would be able to transfer to basically any place as soon as they needed an executive chef if I needed to.
Wow.
You see what I mean?
That's awesome.
So that was kind of like my forward thinking. It's going to take a while to get there, but that'd be dope. It'd be cool. So yeah, that's basically why. I don't like. I'm not passionate about their fucking restaurants or anything. I have no idea where I'm going to be working in there. I gotta get in touch with HR to figure that out. But yeah, that's basically why I'm going there. Just seems like a good place to,
Restart.
yeah, just get back into it.
A new fresh job, a new fresh beginning, you know, from years and years of flooring. You're about the same age I am. You're 29 years old, and then you're actually the same age I am. And 10 years of flooring, man, puts a lot on your body, puts a lot on your mentality. It's a tough job.
It's very tough, man.
You know, and there's tile installers, there's flooring installers, there's carpet installers. All of them are installers, and installers work their ass off just to get through the day. And you know, there's nothing there's nothing weirder than the idea of let me kill myself for 2 more hours to make another buck. Because at the end of the day, you can do one job, you can do 2 jobs, but if you run it and do a third, you're working really fucking hard, but you're making a lot of money.
That's very true, man.
You know.
That's it with flooring, especially. I know a lot of people, most jobs, if not all of them, are you get what you put into it. But when it comes to like the jobs that really prove that, I feel like it's the construction jobs, specifically whenever you're working for yourself. Because you're not fucking working. You're not getting paid by the hour. You're not making $20 an hour. You're making $2,000 when this job is done. Like
100%.
If it's today, then fuck yeah, man. You just made $200 an hour. But what if it's a week from now and that's 40 man hours you had to put into it? You know, like it goes way down. That's some shit that a lot of people don't think about.
Yeah. My first business partner and I had a falling out because I'd done construction my entire life at that point that I was working with him, and he'd never done construction for himself ever. You know, so Christmas time's always been the toughest for me. I never buy anybody Christmas presents or nothing, especially mainly when I was a contractor. You know, when I was a contractor, Christmas was the slowest time of year for me. You know, holiday season, like the second winter time hit and people had family coming over for Thanksgiving, you know. Yeah,
it was about October was busy, November was dead.
October, you still had people trying to get that last final wave of pre-family remodeling going, you know, because the thing is, once they're here or once they're about to come, you got to focus on them getting here, and you got to clean the house. You don't got to remodel the house. So when you remodel the house, it's the month before November, because November is when you clean the house. You know, and they all
ready
come
for
over.
Thanksgiving, Christmas,
and then also all the money on the savings account, a lot extra bullshit money goes to paying the bills, getting caught up, looking like you look good for your family.
Exactly.
And then also
man.
putting the nice meals on the table for the family. And
this is expensive.
Yeah, and this goes for
expensive.
This goes for those of you that actually have the luxury of that. Not everybody has that.
No.
You know, there's some people who struggle to even get the luxury of having a Thanksgiving meal, you know, so don't get me wrong out here. This isn't everybody, you know, but there's a lot of people out there like what I say. You know what I mean? Yeah. So today, you liked it. You enjoyed it. What got you into doing flooring originally in the first place? Like, it was something that you just kind of like in Alabama, it was a good job, or it's because you have your properties and you needed to learn how to do it, or is it just...
I needed a fucking job, man. I was done with high school. I wasn't planning on going to school after that. I hated school. Hated school, man.
Right.
Loved culinary school. Paragon, by the way.
There
just
you
saying.
go.
I got that shit, you know what I'm saying? But loved culinary school, hated high school. Did not think I would like college, so instead I just got a job. Just so happened the guitarist for the band I was in, his dad did flooring. And they needed help, so I started working for him, and that came to be one of the hardest times of my life.
Oh, yeah.
Was learning how to do it and learning how to do it under him. I love this man. To this day, I have nothing but love and respect for this man. So this is not hate when I'm saying this, just so you know. So y'all know. This is all love. But that motherfucker right there, man, let me tell you, I was like 130 pounds soaking wet at the fucking time. And if I was not carrying 3 75-pound boxes of hardwood and sprinting, then this motherfucker was smoking his 9th Pall Mall 100 of the hour, yelling at me at the top of his lungs to get my ass in the house and get more boxes unloaded. It was fucking nuts, man. And this was for years, too. He never let up. I got to where I could go in, tear up a floor, clean it, prep it, lay a floor, put the trim down, finish the trim, clean up, and leave.
Yeah.
Still wasn't good enough.
I mean, at the end of the day, there is still... Oh, you got an H right here. You fucking...
Yes. This motherfucker.
Your random stagger's not perfect. You suck. It's like...
But he was so good at it, man.
Yeah. That's how I learned, dude. My random stagger's beautiful. Beautiful.
Yes.
I got there because of the same thing. Like, I had a guy who was very good at flooring, very bad at business. And so, you know, he definitely ran quite a few companies into shit, but he always was busy. He always had especially in Idaho. Like, you have a good network, you're always going to be busy. And he was always busy, but, you know, like, he had a problem with promising, you know, more than he could deliver, and that's a big problem in the construction industry. And so he would just have more bills than he could pay and stuff like that, you know, and he couldn't pay his employees. And that's always something that happens in the industry. But, like, at the end of the day, like, you can't pay my bills with a smile. You know, I don't care how cool you are. I need a paycheck.
Right.
You know, and, and it turned into something where I couldn't get my paychecks.
Oh, man.
Yeah, so, you know.
Well, that was actually kind of commonplace in Alabama, like doing work for small time, like independent contractors, like the man I was working for. I'm not naming names, obviously, but there would be weeks where he would just have to look us in the eye and be like, boys, I can't afford to pay you this week. I have to pay my house payment. Like, I'm broke. I've got to do this.
That's how it would be, yep.
But he would always make it up, though, is the thing.
He would, too.
He would
but,
make it right.
You know,
he would go pawn his shit.
He would do it a lot, though.
Yeah.
You know, it wouldn't just be...
he wasn't that bad about it.
Yeah, there was... Once it happened, like, the 15th, 20th time, it'd be like, bro, like, you can't pay my bills with a smile, man. Like, come on, dog. Like,
yeah, that's
This
ridiculous.
is fucking... You're putting me out. Like, I got shit to pay. I made payment arrangements once, twice, 3 times. I can't. Like, they're like, hey, dude, you didn't pay. I was like, I promise I have a job.
Yeah, I just can't pay it.
What do you say when you have a job and they're not paying you? You know, you're like, people just don't believe you at that. You're like, you have a job? Like, I'm like, yeah, I swear, I will get you the money. Like, dude, you said that last time. I'm like, dude, I get paychecks.
What are you gonna do, man? Like, you're trying. No, I get it, man. It happens. It fucking sucks when it happens, but it happens way more often than like it should, for sure.
Flooring's always been my go-to, a very great fallback, phenomenal go-to if you know somebody who needs contracting. You know, you don't necessarily always have to have a license to make some money to do a little side job here and there, you know. And I ran my own LLC in Boise, Idaho. I did very well for myself doing flooring and tile for the longest time. I was able to work up like 40 hours a month.
Wow.
You know, and do fine. It was great. You know, you
That's
sell
pretty
one
dope.
tile job, you finish it in a week, you're okay.
Oh yeah, no,
You
dude,
know,
tile pays, man.
Very well.
Woo.
You know how to set straight mason, bro? Like, it's beautiful, it's straight,
Yes.
it's proper, and it's to code.
Mm-hmm.
Make a lot of money.
See, man, I fucked up. I got into hardwood.
know
I
how
should
to
have
do
done tile,
both.
man. See, I know how to do both, don't get me wrong, but like hardwood's my bread and butter. You know, like I can go in there and I can lay a hardwood floor that'll fucking blow your dick
See, I
off.
made
I'd do
my-
a star in the middle.
I made hardwood my bread and butter first, and then
Yeah.
I transitioned on
I should have moved
stone.
on to tile, man.
And
I
it
know
was
I should
funny. I
have.
remember, like I said about the guy that taught me everything I knew about flooring. You know, there was this. He was a flooring guy, and eventually I got into tile.
Right.
You know, and me and him had our falling out, and I transitioned. I started working for a tile company, and I eventually worked my way up from a tile helper all the way to warranty division manager and
Nice.
superintendent.
Hell
You
yeah.
know, so I was the superintendent of all of the warranties, and so I would go to the customers' homes, and I would fix anything that our installers fucked up. And if the installers fucked up beyond my repair to the point where I couldn't save it, they needed to come back and repair it on their own dollar
Right.
without pay, you know? So, like, that was a big job. You know, if I couldn't fix it, you got to pay for it, you know? So, I
So
better
you
be
did
good
your
at my
best, yeah.
I better be good at my job, otherwise
Yeah.
people are going to be upset, you know? So there was a lot of times where I was under a lot of scrutiny or I was under a lot of pressure to fix it, you know? And then I'd finally have to call the shot and say, hey, you know, motherfucker fucked up. They need to come fix it.
What else can you do,
You
man?
know? And sometimes they were subcontractors, sometimes they were employees of the company, you know, but you know, the warranty division manager saved a lot of money for them. And to get to that, I had to start installing, and then I also had to just be a certain kind of person. You know, the
Yeah.
way I carried myself and the way that I was professional with clients, because also all these warranty jobs were inside of homes that had already been bought.
They're occupied most of
they
the
had
time.
already, because
yeah.
I was doing new construction, and this is working for a
Yes.
new construction company, and so by this time, the house had already been moved into and lived in for close to a few months,
and they found the problems.
Yep, and then so they're like, "Hey, BlackRock." That's who we worked for. Was BlackRock Building, BlackRock Homes is who we worked for, and one of the largest home builders in America.
Yeah, right.
You know, and
right.
so we were contracting for them in Idaho, and that's when I would work with BlackRock, and I would directly hear from my boss who heard from BlackRock, and they'd be like, "Hey, you know, the customer wants this, this, and that," you know. And so it was a very good job, you know, that really got me a lot of knowledge of how. You know, because at this point I had already known how to do hardwood. I had already, and I had been learning how to master tile, and learning how to master tile was already hard enough as it is. And they were very strict at this company that I worked at, that they were like, you don't get to touch certain things until you get to a certain point.
Right.
You know,
it's corporate bullshit. Yeah.
No, it wasn't corporate. It was a local company. You know,
It's
and
wannabe corporate bullshit. Then you
not
can't touch it
wannabe.
until.
No. It's, so
Seems
here's,
like
let me
everybody should wanna learn.
let me reiterate.
Okay.
Tile is an art.
No, it is an art. It's
Just
fucking
like
hard,
so,
man.
No, just like with hardwood, it's also an art, and it's with plumbing, it's also an art. All of these trades have severe standards to whoever's teaching it.
Yeah.
You know, and
They
it also
should.
and it also depends on who's teaching it.
Mm-hmm.
Whoever the journeyman is to the apprentice, you know. And I had phenomenal journeymen teach me.
Right.
And they were hardcore. They were like, dude, I don't give a fuck how long you were a contractor for. You're not a contractor on tile. You know,
That's true.
at the point that I was learning tile, I'd already been a fucking contractor for close to 8 years. Like I knew how to, or not a contractor. I had started my own business and did some small side jobs.
Right.
I had been a carpenter
For 8 years.
Yeah, you know,
Yeah.
so I was very confident in my ability, and I had also done close to 20 grand in fucking personal jobs before, like, probably in a few months, even before I took that job. You know, I was trying to just find something solid. You know, like 20 grand to me in a couple months was just like the regular shit, you know? And I knew my capacity as a builder, as a carpenter, as a flooring installer mainly. You know, that was my main bread and
That's
butter.
the money, baby.
You know, and
that and the
that
trim.
at the time was my title.
Right.
It was flooring installer. You know, flooring installer, and that's a title that there is.
Flooring installation technician is what I had on mine.
That's the big word, baby.
Yeah, I
That's
know.
what it is.
You throw technician on the end, and it sounds fancy.
Exactly. You
Just
know,
saying.
and so with that, I had met this gentleman named Ralph, and I met him on Craigslist, and he met me. You know, I was just like, you know, like I'm very confident in my ability on how to lay patterns, on how to lay level floor, and on how to do what I do. You know, so I'm moldable, I'm teachable, and you know, I'm trying to make a buck. Dude, what are you gonna pay me? And I think they offered me something like 17 or 18 an hour just to be a helper. You know,
That's not bad.
Oh,
Just
no.
as like a gopher, that ain't bad at all.
oh yeah, just to learn.
Yeah.
Just to follow up.
No, that's dope, dude.
You know, and so what I would do is I would mix mortar, I would run buckets of water, I would cut tile, you know, and I started just back at the beginning.
You learned the hardest parts first with that kind of stuff, because realistically, once you get up to where you're actually laying the tile, you've been watching them do it for how long?
Long time.
You kind of know what's going on already.
Yeah, but the thing is,
hard
once you
part,
get to
man.
that point and you think you're cocky enough, you'll lay some tile, then you'll get your ass chewed.
Oh yeah, because they're gonna walk across it and hit the shit out their toe or something.
No. It's
No.
just, even if it's perfect, you're gonna get your ass chewed. Tile setters,
Oh, well.
tile setters. It's like, all right. So you're a chef, okay, and the only comparison I can make to mason professionals, because I worked for a gentleman who had set tile for 50 years.
Right.
Like, fucking literally was 65 years old, started
That's
when he was
nuts.
15, and did it because he was so goddamn good he could look at a piece of tile and it'd be done. Insane. Like, dude, you have no idea.
No, I do. I believe
Like,
it.
this guy was, his name was Randy. We called him Randy God Randy.
Randy.
And this is just me and my,
God
I got a couple
Randy.
of my homies a job working for the same company and a couple other helpers and stuff. And I worked my way all the way up, and they would still worked with the company. So, but like we would talk about Randy. It'd be like
Fucking Randy.
and he was a
man.
tough guy to be a helper for. He was
Hell
he was
yeah.
an asshole, but dude,
I'll bet.
he was so smart. He knew his worth, and he just knew that he was probably the best mason the company had ever seen or will see, and just was so fucking good, you know. And I worked under him, you know, and then so the guy that was his helper was also like 60 to 50 years old.
Right.
His helper, old dude, two old dudes, right? And so Randy got a new helper, and his helper got promoted to installer after like a couple years of working under Randy. The motherfucker's 60
it's
years
fucking
old.
Randy.
And motherfucker's also 60 years old too.
Yeah.
His helper. He's like, dude, like, come on, man. Like,
Let me install, man.
I'm a grown ass motherfucking dude.
I got grandkids.
Like,
I'm about to have a great grandkid.
My kids
Come
have
on.
kids, and my kids' are about to have kids. Please.
This is bullshit.
Yeah, and so they let him install. And so after I worked for the company for a bit, I started with his helper when he first started. So me and him vibed for a while, and then I worked for God Randy for a while.
God, Randy.
Yeah, and so after working for the God Randy for a while, that's when I got promoted to the warranty division manager, and really learned the tricks of things.
Man.
Like you can know how to set tile, but to trick rich people into not having to get a free shower, that's a skill.
But okay, so I've got this question that I always ask people, right? It tells me a lot about them, and I want your answer too. Okay,
right.
Is that fine?
Fair.
You just murdered 49 people, right?
Wow.
You're in prison. You're on death row. They wake you up and say you're gonna fucking die tomorrow. What do you want to eat tonight? What are you picking?
Potatoes,
What kind of baked potato?
like twice baked, with lots of salt and butter.
So like a basic, just baked potato.
Yeah,
How many?
3.
What to drink?
Dr. Pepper.
I like her. She's a keeper. That's a good answer. That's a solid answer.
And steak, of course.
No. Okay, so the steak is like the side dish. She said, I want baked potato with steak.
I would do
Okay.
elk backstrap,
Ooh.
corn on the cob, and Thanksgiving stuffing.
Oh, man. Oh.
What was it?
Whoa.
Backstrap is like the filet mignon of a elk.
Yeah, it is.
It's so good.
It's so fucking good, man.
It makes
like
filet
a,
mignon of a beef steak just like nothing. Thank you, sweetheart.
there's something about like that wild gaminess, especially because my favorite thing to serve with it is a glacé, like a sauce is a glacé.
Right.
It's made with like berries and alcohol and a bunch of sugar and shit, but it's kind of got like some herb and spice to it too. Yo, let me fucking tell you, bro. Let me fucking tell you. Goddamn elk backstrap, man.
Oh. I've only had the luxury of enjoying it, I think, one time in my life. And I was allowed to cook it too.
Oh man, that's
Yeah.
an honor.
It was
That's
an honor. It was an honor, and I absolutely honored it.
I'm
did.
sure you did.
I did.
man.
I did. At this point, and the gentleman that allowed me to cook it, his name was Joshua Grad, very good friend of mine. He said, "Hey, like, I think this was like the first time I had met him too." But he like I spoke with conviction on how well I could cook, and he's also a very avid cook himself,
Right.
But he was hosting quite a few people at his house that night, so him saying like, "I'm gonna let you cook this," it was also to me trade off. He's like, "You put in the effort. I know you will. You know what this is.
Right.
You put in the effort. You get to eat it."
Fucking.
Yeah, you know what
That's
I mean.
perfect. You kidding
Oh
me?
my god!
I gotta cook how many plates to get one of these plates?
Oh,
Bring it on, man.
And I did because
Fucking kidding me?
it was I think there was like 7 or 8 people. It wasn't a party, but like 7 or 8 people, and it was a whole backstrap too of an elk. It was just somebody had given it to him as a gift. Oh,
Jesus
my
Christ,
friend! That was
man.
actually one of the best burps I've heard you do.
I've been trying to keep them quiet, but like that one just kind of did. I couldn't keep it in, man. I couldn't keep edging. You know what I'm saying? I had to let it out.
That one was
Not good. Stop.
a good burp, in my opinion, because it wasn't into the mic, and then also had a deep.
Like a resonance too.
Yeah, there was a sense of presence to that burp, like a lion letting his bitches know he's coming.
It definitely wanted to be felt. I could tell. That was a great reenactment, man. Holy shit. I didn't know you could do that. Hold on, do it again.
I don't think I can. That was too perfect. You can't reenact something. You can't.
You can't recreate perfection.
Perfection
okay?
is created, not just gifted.
Oh, that's gorgeous. You better stop.
Created, not just gifted. Not just gifted, baby. All right. Why did you move to Colorado Springs? What brought you here?
realistically, me and my wife just wanted to get the fuck out of Alabama. We got a kid, man. Alabama's number 50 in the nation with education, and if they're not, then they're fighting with either Louisiana or Mississippi. So nothing to really brag about either way. What's the difference in number 48 and number 50, really?
Wow.
Yeah, exactly. So
Which is crazy. Idaho's pretty high up there. They're not terrible at all.
No shit.
Idaho's got great school.
Yeah, well, no, dude, not Alabama. Like,
Bro, I went to 2 years of heavy duty diesel in high school.
wow.
Yeah, like they offered a off-campus education system where they had a welding class, a zoology class, a heavy-duty diesel collision repair, major trade. They even had a
That's
construction contracting class where you would actually learn how to go to a job site with a contractor and they would teach you how to do construction. Dude, no shit.
Are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah, dead ass, dude. So, and I got my automotive,
Wow.
my automotive 1 and my automotive 2. And if I got a grade above a B, I got college credit for it.
Nice, man. No, like we had a.
And might get this. So my automotive tech teacher, he told me, he said, this is nicer than where I went to college, guys.
Yeah.
That's what he said. He's like, dude,
Wow.
this facility where you guys go for a high school classes is nicer than where I got my college tech degree for mechanics.
That is nuts, man.
Now I'm a teacher
Wow.
here. That's what he said. He's like, now I teach here because this is tight.
That's pretty tight, dude. No,
He
that's
was a great teacher, dude. All the
that's
teachers at that
badass.
facility were fucking cool, dude.
No,
the
man.
collision repair. I took collision repair 1, automotive heavy duty diesel 1, and then automotive heavy duty diesel 2.
Right. Yeah.
All in high school.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah. Fucking
God,
super
man.
cool, dude.
No, see that we didn't have much like that. We had there was one thing we had, and oops, excuse me. For the life of I'm saying excuse me to a fucking microphone. Jesus Christ, y'all. I don't remember what it was called. Whatever. But like you were allowed, you could sign up to where the last 2 periods of your school day were credited if you had a job.
What?
As soon as you turned, that was a thing.
What?
Yes,
That's
because
so cool.
because of the low income nature of the area that like I was raised in, that was offered by the best high school in the area. Sorry, is that too loud? But that was a thing. Like the last the 6th and 7th, and then later the 7th and 8th periods of the day would be credited to you as an A as long as you showed up to work.
Holy fuck, that's amazing. Dude, adding to that, I had a buddy in high school whose mom was completely out of the picture. And so they had a place to live, but mom was never there, right? And didn't pay for anything, didn't do anything. But
Yeah.
So he had 2 jobs, or not 2 jobs, but worked full time, right? Had a 40-hour-a-week job. Like, he was working at fucking Wendy's, though. Like, you know, like just trying to make his bank, whatever he could do. He was in high school, you know, 40 hours a week. Had straight A's. Had a 3.6 GPA overall.
Oh wow,
Yeah.
that's good.
He got kicked out of
that's
high
good.
school because he had one too many absences. He was 13, and you would get kicked out. So in my year of going to high school and graduating in 2013 in Idaho, they implemented a shitload of new regulations, and they turned the class of 2013 into a example class.
Yeah.
They're like, hey, these are the new rules, and we're not going to fuck around, right? 20% of my class did not graduate on stage.
What the fuck, dude?
1,300 kids or something like that was my total class size.
Holy shit! What the fuck, dude? My graduating class was like 112.
No, 1,300.
Oh my God.
I think something like 1,300 overall in the school, maybe like 2,000 overall, like in the 3 grades. Nah, 1,000 sounds about right for the whole school at the most, like 800 kids.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
So my graduating class was something like 400 or 500 kids. I forget. I went to LA. I went to Burbank High School. My graduating class
You
was
went to
Burbank High.
All
I went to Burbank High School, and I fucking had a graduating class of about 1,300 kids, like back then. You know, so I forget. That's what sounds right to me. But in Capital, I think I remember it being something closer to like 800 total.
Right.
You know, like
Yeah.
that sounds more accurate. 1,300 kids, the whole 3 grades, you know.
Yeah, now that makes more sense. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a lot for a graduating class, though.
But
man.
in
Jesus.
Burbank, yeah, no problem all day. Burbank, yeah, huge school. Burbank High
crazy.
School is huge, dude.
That
Fucking
is
huge.
nuts.
Took the whole entire football. It wasn't a giant football field because their football field there wasn't big enough to host the senior games. They had to have their
Right.
senior games at the bigger stadium. But their junior varsity and their freshman games and their soccer games were still big enough to have it on their turf field. But that whole stands that they have at Burbank High School fills the entire fucking graduating class every year.
Oh, wow.
Oh, it's huge. So it's about 1,300. That's a lot of kids, dude. It's
Damn.
a ton. It's a huge school. Huge school. I remember there was a riot when I was in my freshman year of high school. A whole ass riot. So, hey, like I was kind of telling you earlier, man. So I used to really fuck with OBS Studio
Yeah.
and it's a really good program for those of you that do streaming and are big into their gaming and need that sort of ability to live edit and to see what they're doing while they're doing it. But I don't stream.
Right.
This isn't this is a live streamed show, and it never really needs to be because the quality of what I need to put out really should be combed through. Or the quality of video that I need to be putting out has to be properly looked through and edited.
Yeah, I feel like this would only really work live stream wise if it was more scripted. And I'm not saying like full on, here's your line, here's what you say. And I mean even more than what exists, like just the minor talking points that are randomly brought up.
Because like the thing is, when you have this kind of setup and as open of a platform that I have,
right?
If you do run a phone that just does a live on the Instagram or something like that, and not like a live stream on Twitch,
yeah.
Even if you did, it doesn't do bad.
Really?
Yeah, I used to live stream.
Should throw it on TikTok right now. Let's go.
I used to though. I used to throw the recording on a live stream and add that aspect to it and whatnot, and it's one more thing to deal with.
Right.
Also, there's been times of recording and hosting this show where I had an apartment downtown Boise, and I couldn't even pay my internet. So I still had to figure out how to record the show without internet, and I was doing a live stream on every episode. So there'd be times where I didn't have internet, and I was like, "Fuck," because you don't need internet to record.
No.
On OBS,
No,
So
just
I was
to
still
upload,
using,
yeah.
I was still using internet. Like it was crazy. I was recording these shows and trying to figure out. Like I had a couple like backlogged, and I couldn't really get them uploaded. And there was one day. This is back right when Tiffany and I first started dating.
Right.
She was like, "Oh, your neighbor has a guest Wi-Fi," and I was like, "The fuck did you just say?"
My neighbor has a what?
My neighbor has a huh?
It's mine. I got internet, babe.
No,
Hell yeah.
like, and I had been trying, like, I
That's-
hadn't had internet. The only internet I could get was on my hotspot for my phone, and at the time, the place I was living at was at the bottom of a valley, so, and the bottom of a valley covered in trees, so, you really couldn't.
Oh, wow.
And I was on the bottom floor. Like, there was no service in my unit whatsoever, dude. Like, there was no way in hell.
Right.
But one day, Tiff's like, yeah, I've been on Wi-Fi, like, every time I'm here. I'm like, you said that there's Wi-Fi, and my neighbor's dead ass had a free guest Wi-Fi, my next door neighbor, and I was like,
Nice.
why the fuck would you do that? And I used that as my main internet. It was fast. It had no security. It was a guest account. I could just use it. I was like, why would you do this? I don't have to pay for internet.
I mean, yeah, thank you, but what the fuck? Why are you doing this?
I was not going to say anything to them about it, but at the same time, I was thankful.
Oh, hell yeah, man. Are you kidding me? Free,
Like,
fast Wi-Fi?
Which is the thing, like, I can
freaking me
see,
out, man.
like, if I had Wi-Fi here and I had a guest account,
Yeah.
like, I have a guest account because I don't want to give you my main Wi-Fi, I would still have a password on it.
Fuck yes, man.
Even my guest account would have a password.
I mean, it's coming from the same router. They can still get to you, man. I'm so sorry. I didn't even notice, man.
Oh, you're good.
I've been getting
That's why
into
we
the
have that
conversation.
camera. That camera's got
Yeah.
the 2 screen.
I just been, man, you know what I mean? I'm just, I'm having such a good time.
Perfect.
It's been so fucking long since I've sat down and just had a conversation like this.
100%. The most important thing about what I do here is that ability to
give my friends and family and whoever the fuck wants to come on here the ability to just sit down and chit chat and talk to me. You know, like you don't.
Man, that's been priceless.
Appreciate
it. Really
and
has.
it's that goes both ways. That's priceless on both ends. You know what I'm saying?
That.
Like
It's a really like on top of being a very enjoyable experience, it feels like I'm being handled by someone who knows what the fuck is going on, and that's good for me, man. Cause I need to be handled. I don't know what's going on. Just a bit.
nowhere near as good as the Sony one that I am, and this Sony one is the base model. Like I talked about in my last podcast, like the growth. Let me get one of those.
I literally just got my last one.
You ho.
I know, man.
The
I'm
growth.
So sorry. I'll spit it over to you. I'll spit it over. Not sponsored. Just I love the bar. This is where I met this
I
man.
have such a long relationship with this bar. I've lived across the street from it now for finishing up my second year entirely now. So I think November, we moved in last year, November 5th. So in 5 days will be my third year coming on. You know,
Jeez,
so 2
man.
full years of living across the street from this bar and going there daily. And so Albert's owned it now for about a year, and I was going to it before the last
over, yeah.
owner, and you know, it was decent. They had a certain vibe there, and now they have a different vibe, and I love it.
Yes.
It's love-hate, but they take care of me, and I take care of them, and it's a good bar, and it's good people, and you know, it's crazy to me because, you know, the Youngblood podcast used to be a solely...
For the service industry, right?
solely the service industry podcast, you know. So I would bring on bartenders, bar managers, bar owners, and all kinds of interesting cats and characters around the community and that were involved in what we do out here and how we're getting through COVID and whatnot. That was a lot of how it started. And especially with the regulations and living in an area like Idaho, because Idaho wasn't shut down whatsoever, dude.
No kidding.
No, dude. We stayed open through COVID. We had open bars, we had open clubs. You know, like
Whoa.
Yeah, sure, you could wear a mask, but we weren't gonna get mad at you if you took it off because you were.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, it was
That's
interesting.
nuts,
Idaho
man.
was nuts. Yeah, like it was still good to bartend in Idaho during the whole
Fuck
thing.
yeah, man.
You know,
That
I
sounds
worked
like
at a
good
bar
money.
that we didn't have to wear a mask and stuff like that. Like we were like, you know what? If we're gonna get shut down, we're gonna follow the regulations to a T, but they're Idaho regulations.
Mm-hmm.
They're very laid back. There were certain times that they couldn't get away with doing that, but there was a lot of times where people in states and much heavier regulated areas were just completely shut down, and Idaho is still bumping.
Wow.
Still bumping.
Who'd have thought Idaho, of all places, was going to be the one to buck the system? You know what I'm saying?
Republican as fuck. Dude.
Fucking
It's
Idaho, though.
Northwestern Texas, dude.
Whoa. Really? Is that what it's known
They
as?
have their own Waco. Ruby Ridge, Idaho.
Duh. Duh. I forgot Ruby Ridge was in Idaho.
Yeah, everybody
Jesus,
does.
Man.
Why do you think they're cousins? Idaho and Texas. They got Ruby Ridge. They got Waco. You know, it's crazy.
No, that makes
though.
sense, man. Whoa. I didn't. Okay. That makes
Waco
perfect
is
sense.
definitely a little bigger of a scale, but shit.
Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Is Alaska technically part of the Midwest? And I have a reason why.
No, it's part of the Northwest.
The mountains.
Idaho is not part of the Midwest. It's the
I know.
Northwest.
But I think they
See that
should be
sticker
honorary.
right there.
though.
It says Pacific Northwest, dickhead. Midwest.
Damn it, it does say Northwest.
Yeah, Pacific Northwest.
I hate that I know how to read, man.
Pacific Northwest.
Specifically Northwest. Yeah, I hear you.
Specifically, it's in the Pacific.
No, man. Alaska's got all the hunting, all the fishing, all the fucking mountains and the trees, and a bunch of guns and a bunch of fucking rednecks, and like mountain people. I think it should be honorary Midwest, personally. I do. From what I've seen, I think it should be honorary Midwest. Obviously not physically in the Midwest, because, you know, it's way the fuck up there on a map anyway, but
I think it's just called the Northwest, dude.
I don't know, man.
Yeah.
I think we need to accept them.
Northwest?
I think we need to accept them.
No, Northwest. It's called the Pacific Northwest. Like, so you know what?
Is Alaska part of the Pacific Northwest, or is it its own thing?
You know what Washington is?
Yeah, I do, but like
Pacific Northwest. You know why? Because on the
because
west.
it's
on the
in the
Pacific
Pacific
coast.
Ocean. I just kind of always like
What's
imagine
Alaska?
Alaska was its own
No, what's
thing.
Alaska?
It's on the Pacific Ocean and in the Northwest.
Then why the fuck is this a question?
I'm just wondering about it, man. Like,
No,
it's like
you're trying to call it an honorary Midwest.
when
Yeah,
it's,
it was that was a thing. Yes, hold on, that's a thing. I think it should be, but like realistically, I never really think about Alaska as part of the Pacific Northwest. It stops with Washington.
because I don't think you
with
think
me.
of anything as a part of the Pacific Northwest because you're from Alabama.
Washington,
Yeah,
Oregon.
you didn't even know what the Pacific Northwest. You know what the
California.
Northwest was.
I know what the Pacific Northwest is. I know what the Atlantic Northeast is.
Then why the fuck did you just call Alaska an honorary
It
Midwest?
should be an honorary member because I know it's Northwest, but it should be inducted in. It should be allowed in.
I think it should just be considered Alaska.
Kind of
'cause
like
it's its
Texas
own-
is Texas. Because when you're from Texas, you don't say I'm from the South. You say I'm from Texas. Alabama, it's like I'm from the South. Mississippi, I'm from the South.
Yeah, but also when you're from California, you don't say I'm from the West. I say I'm from
I'm
California.
from Cali.
Yeah,
Well, typically
and
they'll tell you where they're from in California. That I've noticed. You know, like I'm
as
from
if
Los
somebody
Angeles.
actually gives a fuck.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Like
I'm from San Francisco. Oh, you're from the
That's
same
crazy.
shit state that everybody else came from.
Nah,
Cool.
man, I can keep it. I'm sorry.
I'm
I'll keep
from California, and I still
I'm
have
so
that
sorry, bro.
same hardcore mentality where I'm just like I got bullied for being from California, and I got it beaten out of me real quick. That
Really?
California is not cool. Oh yeah, dude.
Damn.
Idaho corn-fed motherfuckers do not hold back. My nickname in high school football was Cali Swag, and it wasn't because I had swag.
I kind of hate that for you, man.
Oh yeah,
Like, that
Cali
sucks.
Swag, and I was like, dude, these guys hate California. Whoa.
What did California do to them?
Oh no,
No,
I
I
knew
get
what
it.
I
Trust
knew
me, I get it.
exactly what I did when I went to
get it,
fucking.
bro.
I
I'm
showed up,
just-
dude. The first like 3 days of school, I wore a shirt that said "Cool Story, Babe, make me a sandwich," and that's when I knew that I was gonna get bullied.
You want to know the fucked up thing? There's a mug shot of me online at 18 years old wearing that exact shirt.
I feel better.
It was black with pink letters, and it was like way open-sided. That one specifically
Mine was a tank top. It wasn't open sided. It was
Mine was
complete bro
open-sided,
tank.
like all the way down.
I was actually to ice that cake just like a hair. I was the first dude ever at my high school to ever wear a tank top.
Really? What the fuck?
It wasn't cool. Wasn't a thing. And not only was I like one of the first guys, if not only the first to ever
Yeah.
wear one. It said that.
That's so fucking perfect. I didn't even, dude, that's so good. I could just imagine old Bo Cephas and fucking Jedediah getting pissed off because you wearing that shit. That is hilarious.
I also so in LA you have people who wear high socks.
Yeah.
You know, you have the vatos who wear the tall white socks. You
Of
have
course.
the bros who wear the tall black socks, either Vans or Nike or some shit like that. You know? And that's not a thing in Idaho at the time that I moved, like wearing tall socks, because there's not fucking cholos.
Well, no, it's
You know,
Idaho.
and yeah, and so I feel like the bro version of a cholo is the black Nike sock. You know, like it's like
No, that's
I'm a
fair.
white dude, so I don't need to wear the tall white fucking Chicano
The cholo
socks.
socks, yeah.
Fool? You know, like you don't
You
need
button
that.
up your top button, nothing else.
Yeah, but you still wore tall socks, and I didn't think that was a California thing at all. I was like, nah, that's not a California thing.
Is it?
And at the time, this is 10 years ago, dude.
Was
This
it?
is 10 years ago. And so I had a chick come up to me in class and was like, what's with your socks? And I'm like, what? Dude, yeah, like literally. I came from a school where one of my friends made a YouTube video about like a bro where it was making fun of the white dudes in Burbank, California who drive fucking Baja trucks and dress
Right.
like bros and wear Vans and drink Monsters. It was funny. This was like 2009, dude. Yeah, it was a YouTube video one of my
God, I
sister's
feel
friends
old.
made. That was a thing that was like the white bro, the bros,
of course,
you
yeah.
know? And I like kind of adopted that as like, oh, I'm white and I'm a bro, you know? So I like took that style. And like when I moved from
That's good.
Burbank, California to Boise, Idaho in 2010, I had that style. I had that bro-esque, you know? And
Wow.
You're the only
Yeah.
thing.
10th grade was that for you?
Yeah,
Yeah, me too,
yeah,
okay.
dude, and it was crazy.
I
because
remember when I was in 10th grade. See, I went the scene emo screamo route myself, heavy metal.
I did that in junior high.
Oh, okay. So you just
I outgrew it in high school, but
I was
in
backwards.
yeah, but in California, they had 6th, 7th, 8th grade was junior high, and 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th was high school.
Yeah, that's how it was in Albertville.
Idaho was 7, 8, 9th was junior high.
10, 11, 12 is high.
Only 3 grades were in high school. So I moved right after my freshman year and started my sophomore year in high school, right?
Right.
Or in Idaho. So I had already spent a year of high school, played high school football.
Right.
Got fucking promoted to junior varsity, this, that, and another. Went to Idaho and experienced.
Jesus Christ.
And went to Idaho and was a sophomore, right? And so people in Idaho treat sophomores like people in California treat freshmen. Because they're first year high school.
Yeah, that makes sense, but it's odd.
I was
man.
so fucking shook because I already spent a whole last year in high school, and then I got treated by the upperclassmen like a freshman. I was like, dude,
Twice.
this is horseshit.
Yeah, you did it twice.
dude.
That's bullshit.
It was
man.
stupid as hell in my
Wow.
opinion. Because I was like, damn, like I already played a whole year of fucking sports. Like
Yeah.
I had been promoted to JV. Like I fucking really enjoyed high school. Like I had already been through this once.
Yeah,
you know,
man.
like a day late and $1 short for all y'all. And I could notice too because these kids from fucking junior high that came up, the first thing you learn in high school is how to walk through the hallway,
Oh yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And that's what the upperclassmen would all talk shit on. It's like, Jesus Christ, go fucking sophomore.
Get out of the way, fucking softy.
Right.
Or whatever, yeah.
Yeah, especially the sports people, you know what I mean? Like, if you're a lower class and sports person and an upper class and sports person sees you being an idiot, they're going to call you out.
They're gonna call you a fucking idiot.
yeah, and
exactly.
so I had literally already gone through Freshman Friday, where in my school, the seniors would throw freshmen in trash cans. Like, that was still a thing back then, you know? And literally, and like the school wouldn't suspend
They
you
didn't
for it
have
and
that.
shit. No, they would.
That's
It was a
crazy.
huge school. Like, they would.
Wow.
Football players would grab freshman football players because there was, dude, you're 18 years fucking old in high school, and you're playing sports with kids that are fucking literally
Like 14.
yeah,
years old.
you
That's
know,
crazy,
so they're like
man.
your younger sibling. They're really your
And you're
younger sibling.
fucking them up.
Oh,
man.
dude, I went through Hell Week. I literally went through high school Hell Week as a freshman and went back to my first year of high school.
Damn.
It was the craziest thing in my eyes. I was like, this is horse shit.
That sounds awful, man.
It was stupid. I'm sitting there
Jesus.
getting yelled at for not knowing how to walk through the hallways because the jackass in front of me doesn't know how to walk in the hallway. I'm like, dude, I've figured it out. man.
Tell him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like literally, dude. And the craziest like thing about the craziest aspect of the whole thing. I was told by my friends in California right before I was about to move. I was like, oh, I'm moving to Idaho. And they're like, dude, you're going to be so cool. Shit, you know, dude. That's the worst part about it. Dude, these fucking Californian
What?
douchebag motherfuckers. Literally, every one of my friends, bro, like, they were like, oh, you're moving to Idaho?
Oh,
To
you're
some
gonna
small
be the
town?"
coolest.
Yeah.
You're from California,
Dude,
You're gonna
100%.
be so
Every
awesome.
single one of my friends were like, dude, you're gonna get so many bitches. They're gonna think you're so cool. Like, bro, like, get ready to get so much fucking booty tang.
No.
100%. I cannot tell you how many times that was said to me when I told homies, I was like, hey, man, I'm moving out of state to, you know, fucking Idaho.
Yeah.
You know, yeah, I'm going to miss y'all. Like, fucking this, that, and another, blah, 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 blah. They're like, dude, you're going to be, dude, enjoy fucking just getting fucked, dude. Like,
Well, look.
that was the worst part about it. Like,
That's so
I came in with
crazy.
such a chip on my shoulder, like thinking that I was gonna be cool, thinking that people like people from California,
Right. Because that's what
know?
you were told by everybody.
Yeah, and I get a nickname, Cali Swag, and that was when Swag was like not a cool name, you know, Swag. I'm like,
Yeah, that was the post Soldier Boy days.
It was right after Soldier Boy was cool, like the year after.
Yeah.
It was like Swag, and
Pop
like
up out
it was
of
when
bed,
Swag was kind of
turn my
cool. Like
swag
Swag was
on.
cool